Has anyone else had this thing during this whole lockdown? Let's leave it at that. Where you'll do something as simple as you'll sneeze or you'll get cold and you start thinking, oh shit. Yeah, well, it's been an interesting week. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, bookworms and hypochondriacs? And yes, I fall into that category, it seems, too. Lots of things going on right now. I know a lot of you guys are bored. I really wish that there was something I could do to entertain you more than just talk about what I've been doing while I've been bored to entertain myself. But I hope you guys are being safe and you aren't letting your children drive you bananas like I am. Like, for example, they've been quiet for hours. I say, hey, I'm going to go record a video. Let's all mess with dad's door the whole time. So yeah, I'm sure you guys are all feeling a little Jack Torrancy towards your family right now, and I hope you guys are keeping it together. But I want to talk about what's going on this week, just because, hey, it's tradition, and even though not a ton of things have happened, I still like to talk about them because this makes me think of the old podcasting days where we talk about, what was going on all over media and stuff like that. So I like to continue to do these, not just talk about the book stuff. So I'm glad you guys will indulge me on these things. I just finished Deadbeat like 10 minutes ago. Very, very good. But here's the thing, guys. All the Dresden Files have been good. All of them. I don't think that there's a bad one in the batch, really. So I don't think you're ever going to hear me say, oh, yeah, I didn't really care for this one. I will say that I think that the reputation that this one has might be a tad overblown. I think it was very good, but I see this consistently listed as a top 3 Dresden Files book. I'll tell you right now, it didn't touch Death Masks for me. Death Masks is still on top for me. And I've been running through the series and reviewing them all and stuff like that. And when I'm finally, when I get around to reviewing this one, I'll put it with the collection that's right here. But I would look for that sometime next week when I want to talk about it in depth, like I do with everything, and talk about kind of why I feel that way. And I want you to understand that's not disparaging this book at all. It was a good time, just like all the others have been. So it's just not my favorite by far. Everyone told me that this was going to be my favorite one, up to this point, and it wasn't. It was very good. Again, all of them were good. But yeah, I'm going to continue immediately, and I'm going to pick up Proving Guilty probably later this afternoon because I'm not on a race against the clock for Wheel of Time anymore, but I feel like I am still on a race against the clock for Peace Talks. And we did get the news this week that not only are we getting Peace Talks, but we're getting the 17th book also, Battleground, in the fall. So good on Jim Butcher. It sounds like he's gotten out of his funk, and he's going to release 2 books this year. And I believe this will get him back to his 1 per year schedule until it's over. As far as I know, it seems like someone always has a different story for me. He still plans it to be 23 books, 20 case files, and then 3 of a final apocalyptic trilogy, I believe he puts this. I don't know. I didn't watch his interview because I figured spoilers would be flying all over the place. So I didn't really watch that, but I did get the news about the 2 books coming this year. But right now, like I said, I'm going to race against the clock for Peace Talks because I want to be ready for that advanced reader copy that I'm supposed to be getting. Who knows if that's still going to happen with this whole lockdown that's happening right now. I don't know what businesses are considered essential or not. So I don't know if I'll also be getting mailed that whole deal. I've had Jordan Cod completely wrecked for me now, so I imagine this is probably the next thing. So inconveniencing all of us, isn't it? What else? I did my review for The Gathering Storm. And it was the first one where it's the first video since A Little Hatred that I decided to break into 2 parts. Now, A Little Hatred, I decided to do that because I wanted to do a spoiler. I experimented with doing a spoiler review and a non-spoiler review. With this, no, it's all spoiler review. It's the same format. It's just a lot of people told me they wanted me to stop whittling these down. I tell them, hey, I recorded an hour and a half, but I edited it down to like 47 minutes, something like that. Another interruption by the kids. Yeah, I broke this into 2 parts because everyone kept asking me to stop whittling those videos down. So I just decided, hey, I'm going to let it go. It ended up with like an hour and 15 minutes, so I just cut it into 2 parts just because, yeah, I didn't want to upload an hour and 15-minute video because I don't want to bore you guys with data and stuff, but that kills your algorithm on YouTube, and it makes your stuff not show up for other people when they start searching stuff. If people watch an hour and 15-minute video and they watch it for 26 minutes, yeah, it makes your videos hard to show up. But that review is right here. Both of them are start right there. At the end of that video, there'll be a link to just continue to the next one. And it's really weird. It's really weird that the first one has so much more views than the second one. Again, I think that kind of justifies the decision clearly, because it means it didn't retain the audience for the full. I know that a lot of you do like those longer reviews, but some people don't. In fact, I've gotten a lot of criticism now about how I think the number one criticism I'm getting on those now is a book summary is not a book review. Well, that's the format on my channel, as I will go through the summary of a book. If I'm doing a spoiler review, I'll go through the summary of the book and I'll talk about what I thought while it was going on. So yeah, if you're looking for shorter reviews and more vague reviews, I guess, maybe I'm not the channel for you. I don't know. So I'm sorry you guys feel that way, but that's the format that I do, and that's what I'm probably going to continue to do. But I listen to criticism like all the time. I'm okay with it. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I can handle the criticism. I joke on Twitter and the Discord about some of the over-the-top comments I get, and that's just all in good fun. But I'm not going to let one super negative commenter change the way I do anything like that. But I don't consider that negative. If people feel that way, I understand. I'm not a major publication that's going to be given the same review with a bunch of $20 words when a $5 word will do. So if that's not your brand, okay, I get it. But the biggest thing with Gathering Storm is just the people who feel like they have to explain stuff to me because I didn't care for one particular storyline, and there's one kind of jumping the shark moment that I just thought was absolutely silly. And people felt like the need to explain that to me because I clearly didn't understand. Well, I understood. It just doesn't work for me. So always interesting comments there. I've actually been so busy with the family and stuff like that, I haven't really been able to respond to many comments there. Plus, I'm terrified of spoilers at this moment, and so that's why I'm not responding to a lot of comments right now on Wheel of Time reviews. Because I'm so close to the end, and I'm apparently pissing people off, the Egwene truthers, as I call them, and they think, okay, well, I'm just going to be shitty, and I'm just going to spoil this guy. And you don't think that happens. It happens. People really start to get shitty, and they start to want to ruin something for you. So I'm this close, 2 books from the end. I definitely don't want to have it spoiled. And as far as my Wheel of Time reading schedule, right here, I did an updated schedule for what is going on post Jordan Con getting canceled. It was something I felt like needed to be done because it really had to do like a soft reset on the schedule. And really, I just felt like it was kind of time for a soft reset because I had altered my schedule to meet the Jordan Con requirements, or not requirements, for my requirements for Jordan Con. And then I've had to change it back. So I've pushed everything that isn't Dresden Files or Wheel of Time back. And you can get the more details exactly of what I plan to read when or whatever there. But I do plan to start The Towers of Midnight on Monday. I've come this far. I know that I was like, I don't feel like the need to rush it anymore because of Jordan Con or whatever. But now it's just like, Gathering Storm was basically part 1 of 2. And I didn't get the storyline that I was really, really wanting out of Gathering Storm. And I know it happens in this one. I mean, you can look at the cover and figure out that that's what it's about. So I'm definitely going to do that one. And then it's going to be, okay, well, you've got 1 book left. Are you really going to stop? No. So I figure April is just going to be Wheel of Time. But unlike before where I was just doing Wheel of Time, I'm going to mix in the Dresden Files with it so I can get those done on time too. So there will be more content on the channel. That's really what the video was about, to let you know that there will be more content on the channel than just Wheel of Time and Dresden Files. I'll be talking about other stuff. I'll also be doing my Into the Multiverse and other things. And I mentioned it all in that video. And yeah, but that's as far as the reading schedule goes. Yes, it's just Wheel of Time and Dresden Files right now. And then hopefully sometime in June, I'll be free to go back to other things, including Era 2 of Mistborn or whatever. But speaking of Mistborn, I did want to make a quick apology that I wasn't able to do Hero of Ages in March. So Mistborn March did get delayed. I explained really why that happened or whatever. But I had to make the decision, do I want to do the Gathering Storm review or do I want to do the Hero of Ages review? I felt like the Gathering Storm review was obviously more in demand, and I didn't want to start a new Wheel of Time book before I started doing my review for the previous one, because I didn't want things to start bleeding together. So that's why I made that decision. I will still be doing a review for Hero of Ages. It'll probably be quite condensed from what the first 2 Mistborn reviews are. and I've talked about reasons why. I won't regurgitate those here, but it will be happening. So just be patient with me. I also talked about 2021. I know right now everyone's concerned about what's happening right now, so I think it's kind of fun to look ahead and think about 2021. And right here, I did all the new series I plan on starting in 2021. And you guys already know about Malazan and whatnot, but there's other ones that I wanted to talk about that, since I'll be freed of some of these long-running series like Dresden Files, like The Cosmere, like Wheel of Time, like Witcher, things like that I'll be done with, and it'll open up the door for me to start new series where I can do like I used to, where I'll just read one and then I'll bounce to another series and then come back to it. No, more binge reading series in a row, because I feel like that causes burnout or whatnot. But really, I was just talking about some ones that I want to do in 2021, and some series that I won't be able to get to, and there are ones that I want to. And you got to understand, guys. I know people, what about this series? What about this series? Look, I'd love to be able to clone myself 6 times and read everything I want to read. It's just not going to happen that way. But with all the uncertainty going on right now about when or / if things are going to return to normal, it's fun to think about what's going to be happening in the future there. And so that's why I did that. So lots of good series on the horizon to talk about going into next year. A lot of those people who are tired of me reviewing all the same series as the big booktubers, whatever. I think that there's plenty I'm going to branch out there that is some that even they haven't touched yet. So I'm really looking the most forward. No, not to Malazan, but to the John Gwynne stuff, the Faithful and the Fallen, and the Of Blood and Bone series, of which the last book comes out here in like a week. So I'll have 2 complete John Gwynne series. And people ask me, well, how do you know you're going to like John Gwynne? It's just, sometimes you just know. I can't explain it. Sometimes you just hear the right things about a series and you just know it's going to be for you. And for some reason, John Gwynne, everything I've heard, it just seems like it's going to click with me. It's going to resonate well with me. So that's why I'm excited, super excited to start those big, meaty books. And I'm really, really looking forward to it there. Something I don't do a lot on this channel, I did it with the Kindle Paperwhite. I don't talk about devices very much. I'm not an unboxing channel or a device channel or here's how you use this thing very much. And I'm not a shill or anything like that. I'm not hawking anybody's product or whatever. What I like to do is things that promote eye health, because I feel like we are just destroying our eyeballs with all these devices and computer screens that we look at nonstop. And anything that's going to help eye health, I'm going to be a big advocate for. And it's pricey, but I talked about the BenQ e-reading lamp. I'll put that review right here for you. Just briefly, just gave you guys an idea of if you're like me and you still like to read, paper-bound books, and I like to read them at a desk, and I would usually go off of my traditional, my natural light right here, and then, later in the day, the lighting might not be the best, and just my overhead light wasn't really working very well, and that was still very, very bad for your eyes. Well, I got like this really cheap lamp, and it didn't really fix things. So I got this really expensive lamp, and it's worth it. But it is like the Maserati of reading lamps, and it's not cheap. But it was something that I feel like giving reviews on devices that, 1, promote eye health, and 2, might be a little more expensive, and people want to, get some non-sponsored reviews on some stuff, because nobody's paying me for this stuff. I like to help those people out, let them know from a real person if this stuff is worth the cost. And I would definitely say both the Paperwhite and, of course, the BenQ e-reading lamp are both worth the cost. So just something I like to do every once in a while, kind of mix things up. Outside of books, I started watching Castlevania on Netflix. Now, guys, I didn't really care for watching this when it first came out, because I know this is going to get people jumping all over me and say, it's not anime because it's not from Japan. Anime style. I'm not crazy about manga or anime. It's just, no offense, if you guys love it, and I know most of my viewers seem to, awesome. I just never really got to it. It's never really done anything for me. I think it took me forever just to watch Ghost in the Shell, and I was like, meh. So I've never really watched very much of it. When I saw that that's what they were doing with Castlevania, I was like, yeah, whatever. I had no idea it was as faithful to the games. Now, I've been a huge fan of the game series for years. Castlevania 3 on the Super Nintendo, or sorry, not Super, the regular Nintendo, the original Nintendo, Castlevania 3 was a game I played like crazy, and it takes so many story elements from that and, makes them awesome now, because, here we are 30 years later. But it also takes a couple of elements from Symphony of the Night, which is maybe my favorite Castlevania game ever. But there's several other games that they're tying into it now that I'm into Season 2. Because I remember the first season was basically like a movie. It was just cut into 4 parts. It was like a 90-minute movie, basically. And now we're actually into the real series. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I did not expect to like it this much, The animation looks very much like Dragon Prince style, which I like quite a bit. And it's very, very R-rated. I mean, there's bad language, there's sex, there's nudity, there's violence, there's gore. It's grimdark as hell. You got demons eating little babies and stuff. I mean, it's brutal. So not safe for work or anything like that. But I highest recommend, especially if you're into the series. About the only thing at this point, because they've introduced so many awesome characters I never expected to see, like Sypha and people like that. So I'm really, really excited. Going forward, I am hoping that they kind of incorporate some famous Castlevania tunes in there, because Castlevania is very famous for its music. So I'm hoping they put some of those tunes in there, even if it's in a reimagining or something like that. I'd be really down for that. So I'm looking forward to continuing that. I told you guys in the last update that my wife and I were going to start watching Dark on Netflix. Very good. We watched the whole first season in a couple of days. With the lockdown, there's not a ton to do at night, so we just kind of burned through those. We watched like 4 episodes that first night. We're watching it with the traditional audio, which was German, recorded in German, and reading the subtitles, because everyone told me that the English dubbing was terrible. So we have kids, so we're used to having everything on with subtitles and basically reading our movies and TV show, because we can never hear anything. If you have young kids, you understand what that means. So reading subtitles doesn't bother me, and obviously this is a book channel. Of course, reading doesn't bother me, but it doesn't take anything away from it. To me, a subtitle movie, after a couple of minutes, you don't even notice that you're reading to follow the story anymore, so it's not really a problem. But man, is this show dense. It is so deep, and if you literally miss one scene, you are lost. You have no idea what's going on. And speaking of Lost, I feel like it's a mix of Lost and Stranger Things. That's how I would describe it to people. Because, it deals with time travel like Lost did, and it deals with the 80s like Stranger Things did. So it's like a slice of nostalgia mixed in with other things. And the ending of the first season was like, what? But we immediately were like, okay, let's take a quick break. Let's take a breather before we start season 2, because I know it's the final season. Season 3 does come out this year, and we don't want to forget everything. So we're just kind of taking a deep breath before we start season 2. And we did that by watching The Godfather. I told you guys before that I finally got my wife to agree to watch The Godfather after I brought up the parallels with it and season 2 of Yellowstone, a show that she really, really loves. The Godfather was like the last thing that I've never gotten her to watch. We've been together 13 years. And I always just assumed The Godfather's always just been kind of a guy thing. Women weren't crazy into it. If that sounds sexist, I don't mean it. That's just the stereotype that it has gotten, the reputation it has gotten. It was like the ultimate guy movie or whatever, because, The Godfather is, 98% dialogue. It's not a ton of action or anything like that. But I was proud of not only did she stay awake, she seemed very engaged, and the next morning she was even asking me questions about it. And she's interested enough to watch The Godfather Part 2. So, yes, I feel like this is a victory for men everywhere. Because all I did was tweet about this, and a lot of people were like, yeah, my wife either just said flat out no, or they've all fell asleep. So, very, very cool. So, I owe her a golden ticket for anything she wants me to watch here in the future. And I've always been that way. I've always said, I even told her I'd watch 50 Shades of Grey with her if she wanted me to, because I was like, at the time I was like, I watch all those superhero movies. You watch all those superhero movies with me? Hey, if you want me to see Magic Mike with you, I'll do it, So guys, do something for your women once in a while. If they go out on a wire, out of their comfort zone to watch something like that with you, right? So that's where I am. Lastly, gaming. I told myself, okay, I got Ori. That was enough. I don't need anything else during this whole lockdown thing. And then I got Doom Eternal. Doom 2016 was one of the coolest games I had played in a long time. It had all the just like the heavy metal music, and the glory kills were just like amazing. And it was one of those things where I was like, wow, Bethesda's doing something right. And I used to be a huge Bethesda fan. I still think Skyrim was one of the greatest games ever made. Fallout 3 is maybe the most immersive game, not named Subnautica, that I've ever played. And I was, I loved Bethesda. It just seems like ever since Fallout 4, including Fallout 4, it just kind of just went downhill on everything. They made nothing but bad decisions. But Doom is something that I've really, really liked that they've been working on. And Doom Eternal, if the first couple of days I was like, I think this is better than Doom 2016. Now that I've had some of the recency bias wear off, it's a very, very good game. It is hard as hell, and that's not just because of things like the lack of or the vast amount of enemies compared to how much energy and how many shields you can pick up, but the platforming. And to me, a lot of platforming, as in like jumping, to platforms and grabbing walls, things like that, in first person is so difficult for me. I've never been really crazy about that. There's a lot of it in this. I don't really care for the reloading system or how they've changed up grenades and things like that. But there's other tweaks that they've made that I feel like are for the better. So it's definitely a recommend if you are looking for something to play right now. If you have Steam, I'm playing it on PC. You don't even have to leave the house, so you can still socially distance. So I would definitely recommend the game. I just still think right now I'm leaning towards the Doom 2016 is the better game. But it is very, very beautiful, and it's very polished, and I think you'll like it quite a bit, and the soundtrack is still just crazy good. So that's it for me, guys. I don't have a lot else going on besides that. No, I don't think so. Just going to keep reading, chipping away, and, while you guys all probably had your school canceled, my school was not canceled. They've still, like a lot of people have been like, hey, they should cancel this semester. Why should we be worrying about the school while we're doing this? And I'm like, look, I'm doing whatever makes me done with school in May. I don't want to stop. They've canceled our graduation to either a later date or just flat out mailing you your degree in the mail, which kind of sucks. But it sucks. It does suck. Don't get me wrong. But I feel more for like high school seniors who've had their graduation and prom canceled now and stuff. And that's just a bummer, man. It really, really is. So trying to look at something like that to an 18-year-old, obviously that's just got to be soul crushing or whatever. For me, someone who left the workforce to go back to school full time, bust their ass for 4 years, and now just get my degree mailed to me like I'm at the University of Phoenix or something, it's kind of a bummer. But I'll live. I'm still going to have that degree, and I figured this whole situation is going to delay my job search. So it is what it is, guys. No end in sight, it doesn't appear. So hope you guys are all staying safe. Make sure you're taking a walk around the neighborhood or something like that once in a while to break the cabin fever a little bit. We take a walk every evening, come home and immediately wash our hands, that kind of thing, just to kind of get out of the house so we aren't strangling each other because, this video got interrupted like 5 times by my kids. So you know how it's going right now. So I hope you guys are keeping sane, staying safe, wash your hands, all that good stuff. And stay safe and have a great week.